Finding meaning and purpose feels harder than ever now. It can feel harder than ever. Meaning, it's not that meaning has become scarcer. Meaning hasn't moved at all. You have, I have, we're the ones who have moved. So let me elaborate on that. Um, consider the first two consider the first hour of the morning and consider the last hour before going to bed. These 2 hours are beautiful hours because that's when our subconscious mind is the most um, uh, pliable, influenceable, delicate, open, susceptible to thought, to anything that it needs to receive. Now, in these 2 hours, first hour of the morning, last hour before bed, where are we spending our time? Many of us are spending our time, we're handing over that precious time to a screen. And it's little wonder that we are wondering, how come my life feels meaningless? I don't have a sense of purpose. Because your life is, you're giving that time over to someone else, to a screen. So again, I say, meaning hasn't moved at all. You have moved. I have moved. I recently listened to a talk about the mind and reclaiming some of this. And many of this could be a reminder, refresh. It was a beautiful reminder to me as well. And that's why I'm kind of passing on this reminder to you and to all of us, really. So the speaker reminded us that the human mind was never designed to receive so much influx of content. Imagine you're sitting alone, you're absolutely fine. And even just by sitting alone, you have so many thoughts going through your head. And now, consider how many of those thoughts are wholesome thoughts, how many of those thoughts are unwholesome thoughts. And now, by picking up a screen, we are then adding on thoughts from not just the village which was around us as our parents or our grandparents experienced, but the entire world. Someone in Australia, someone in South Africa, someone in the US, someone in Norway. We're getting all these signals from all over the world, good, bad, ugly, whatever it may be, and it's just bombarding us. And we allow this precious time to be overtaken. We're surrendering, we're giving it over. And then from the moment we awake to the moment we sleep, we are lost in this content thought flow that's then merging with our thoughts, and then we cannot distinguish what is what. The beautiful thing is that in the first waking hour, your mind is so fresh. My mind is so fresh. It's rested. It's actually very clear. It's actually the closest to a blank slate that your mind can be in many moments. And again, the last hours or the final hours of the day offer a window of opportunity to actually settle the dust. Like many of us take a shower at the end of the day to cleanse the body. What shower are we taking for our minds? What shower are we taking for our being, for our soul? All of the things that stirred up during the day, we just climb into bed with that and try to fall asleep and wonder why we don't get rest. I mean, imagine you played a massive game of football, ran all over the place, got dirty, everything mucked up, and now you just go and dive straight into bed and fall asleep. I don't think many of us would do that. So, but we do this with our minds. We do this with our soul. We just take everything, we shove in more social media, we're stuffed, and then we try to go to bed. And then we're thinking, how come I'm not resting? How come I don't feel restful? So what has happened over time is these precious hours now belong to a feed. Now, the chicken approach, in school, you're like, "Pak, pak, pak, you're a chicken." If you can't do that move, you can't jump into the pool, it's too cold, you're a chicken, people are egging you on. So the chicken, I call it the chicken move, is to blame the social media corporations and say, oh, look at them. They're the ones feeding us the content, right? Now, I am I am inviting us to a responsible adult approach and not the chicken approach. The responsible adult approach to regain control for yourself. It's so simple. The same hand, this hand that reaches out to take the phone, is the very same hand that can choose not to reach out and take the phone. It's so simple. It cannot be simpler than this. And probably let's talk a little bit about what happens when you when you fill that last hour or first hour. Let's say you fill the first hour you're filling it with comparison, you're filling it with urgency, you're filling it with other people's fears, and you're compounding onto yourself and everyone else's lack. And now you're beginning your day from scarcity. Huh. Imagine that you're depleted even before you can stand up out of bed, and you wonder, oh, I'm like pulling myself out of bed. Or you get out of bed and you start scrolling, and then everything, you feel so low and depleted. Why? All those beautiful creative juices of that subconscious that's just perfect, you just saying, hey, take it, it's all yours for free, all yours. And then you wonder why you feel depleted, wonder why I feel depleted. And the same thing with the last hour of every day, right? Carrying the residue. We just spoke about that. And no wonder the sleep doesn't feel restorative. And actually, you've not put anything down. That's the truth. Mel Robbins has this beautiful, I remember one thing she used to say quite often: nobody is coming. No one is coming to rescue you. You, the person who's most capable of rescuing you, of helping you, of lifting you is you. Surprise. And we also have this. Then what happens is, when we are in the space, when our energy is chronically depleted, what little we have nothing left in the tank to even consider, who am I? What am I here on this precious moment in time to do and be? And then if someone asks us that question, like I ask people this question, they're like, oh my God, such a deep question. I'm like, it's not a deep question. It's a basic question. If you understand that when you say it's a deep question, it means you just haven't spent some time to understand it. Any question is not deep. If you engage with it, once you plumb those depths, it doesn't feel deep anymore, because you keep going. That depth, quote unquote, feels very comfortable for you. It's a new level of comfort. And then you wonder why life feels like a hamster wheel. This is very funny, I think, animated thing called Secret Life of Pets, right? And then there's this hamster, and he's going around on the hamster wheel, and he goes, and he stops and goes, I run and I run and I run and I go nowhere. How many of us feel life is like this, right? We make these statements. It's a hamster wheel. It's Groundhog Day. It's the daily grind. And we keep affirming, sending those affirmations back to ourselves. It's a grind. It's a Groundhog Day. And so guess where and how your life is going to be. It's a hamster wheel. It's a rat race. Guess how your life is going to be. Guess how my life is going to be if we take that kind of thing. And now on top of that, we've been sold this lie, myth of retirement. I'm going to play with that word retire. Retire, which means get tired again. So all we're doing is working. We're already tired, and we're working towards a place where we will feel tired again, because retirement has been sold as, oh, play golf, go to the sea, whatever, right? No, we need to use our minds constructively. We need to use our faculties constructively till the day we pass on from this life, right? So you're going to be retired permanently if you look for retirement. I'm going to be the same way if I pursue that path. And finding purpose and meaning can completely, I'm going to use a word here, smother all of this narrative that we're hearing, right? So a Harvard study showed that having a sense of meaning and purpose can reduce cortisol level by 70% and increase lifespan by 7 years. And another similar study, maybe you've heard of it, is the blue zones, right? The blue zone study of people who live to centenarians who live, and there's these hotspots around the world. And there are 5 elements that have been kind of distilled out as what makes these people live for long. One element of those 5 is a sense of purpose. And so what actually happens here is that purpose is it's not a nice to have, right? People are like, yeah, I'll do these basic things and then I'll figure out what my purpose is, maybe later down the line. I'm like, no. If you look at the blue zone people, purpose is intrinsic. It's a must have. In fact, it is a life giving source, a longevity hack, if you want to call it a hack, but it's a way of being. So having that sense of purpose. If you may have heard of Jiro, the Japanese sushi chef master. I think he's about 100 years old now. He has one restaurant, never opened any more branches, 3 Michelin stars, if not more. I think there's only 8 seats and it's booked up I think it's 6 months in advance or something like this. But this guy is so dedicated to his craft, and it's not about the money, it's not about anything else, but look where it takes him. That absolute focus, that absolute, and everything around it, his life comes through in his work. And the thing is that his level of clarity was not discovered by accident, right? It probably came in moments of silence. And this is what I want to talk about next, which is quiet, undistracted attention is what can enable us to focus, to reclaim that purpose. And yet we're giving those 2 precious hours, 2 of many hours, those 2 precious hours, morning and afternoon and evening, before going to bed, beautiful times to ask, who am I? What am I here for? And these are beautiful times when the soul would like to speak to you. And I would say optimal times for when the soul speaks to you. And what I would say is that purpose, in my experience, it's not loud. It doesn't announce itself over and above the din and noise of us scrolling and going through things and trying to escape into these other worlds, away from our lives. But it's going to be surfacing in the stillness, in the moments of the waking, in the moments just before bed, in the shower. It's all these moments when your mind is actually finally clear enough to hear the still small voice. The Quakers call it a still small voice. All of the rishis, if you study all of the religions, all of the spiritual teachings around the world, if you want to hear God, silence is a kind of an must have. It's an absolute. You cannot do it without silence. It's the best way. And, I would ask this question, put a challenge to all of us. If you cannot sit alone, if I cannot sit alone with myself, then a deeper question that's worth asking is, are you satisfied with who you are? Am I satisfied with who I am? Or am I not satisfied with who I am? Are you not satisfied with who you are? This is a question to ask. May feel tough as a question, but I think it's a worthy question to ask. Because if I can't sit with myself, what is causing me to not be able to sit with myself? And I would argue, is more content the answer to be able to sit with yourself? Is that going to empower you to sit with yourself? And I would argue that more content is precisely what's causing or limiting you to be able to even answer this question and get that comfort. And the same teacher who was talking, who I mentioned earlier, she also mentioned something beautiful, which I completely resonate with. Meditation used to be a nice to have, like, yeah, if you would like, come meditate, try meditation, this kind of things, right? There's no try, there's only do or don't do, as Yoda says. I mean, that's for a separate post. Try versus do, don't do. So, but today, with all this advance in AI, technology and all this pull for attention in so many spaces and directions, meditation is now a must have. Meditation is a must have. Why? It's a necessity. Why? Meditation, in my learning, my experience, my understanding, meditation is a timeless technology, human technology, and it helps to bring about self realization. And what does self realization do? It reconnects you with your divinity, it reconnects me with my divinity, it connects us back to God, to Source. And that connection with Source, therein lies the magnitude, the abundance, the vastness of human capability and humanity, fully human. That's what it means, right? So by leaving that out, we're missing out. We're missing out on how to be fully us. And I'm speaking from experience here. Let's talk about the device story. What began as a single hour in the morning quickly transformed into 3 hours. And the cool thing is, I'm like sitting there going, "Wow!" I observe myself through these moments, and I'm thinking, "Wow!" You know, actually, you begin to realize that I don't need this device so much, and I don't need it even more. I can do even more without it, and more without it, and more without it. Liberating way to live. Trust me, such a beautiful, liberating way to live. And the same thing in the evening, replacing that last hour. Oh, it's night and it's literally night and day. It's such a big difference. Um, and the other cool thing is this behavior actually sustains through the day. You don't reach for your phone that often because you've set your focus at the start of the day, and you know who you are, what you're here for, and your focus is clear, and you're connected to Source. And now this device, you will use it in very different ways, right? You will use it in very different ways. I mean, like I'm using it now to create stuff, right? Use it for creation, use it for those kind of things. And something that is very cool is that this is a conscious, deliberate choice. I can make it, you can make it. Like I said earlier, the same hand that reaches for the phone is the same hand that doesn't have to reach for it. It's your hand. You decide. The corporation can't control your hand. Not yet. So I hope, I trust till one day they're not going to, unless you cede that control to them, they're not going to be able to control your hand. So I'm proposing an experiment to you, just as I love doing these experiments, and this is how I learn and practice and do things. So next 21 days, okay, try 5 days, then extend it a bit more, but fundamentally 21 days. I think that's what science teaches us for habit formation. 21 days. For 21 days, promise yourself not to touch your phone the first hour that you wake up and the last hour that you sleep. Of course, if someone is calling you, by all means pick up the phone. We don't know, right, what that emergency could be. But simple things, leave your phone outside your bedroom. We've heard this hundreds of times, but just do it today. Do it now. Leave your phone outside the bedroom. Get a simple alarm clock. I did the same thing. It's $5, well, not $5, I don't know, $10, whatever. Invest in a simple alarm clock, right? If that's your way to get up. It's super easy. It's super easy. It's super easy. I cannot underline how easy this is to take control of your life. Now, what I would say in closing is, try this for 21 days. Trust me, and you may have a question. So what am I supposed to do now? Now, and actually a person in this seminar asked that question. So what do I do now? And it's like the speaker was like, "Don't you see how addicted we are? We don't even know what to do when we're offered a chance to use that time differently." I would say first, just sit with yourself. Do nothing. Be bored. See how that feels. And if really you can't, manage that, there's so many things. Read something that nourishes your soul, nourishes your being. Meditate. Journal, and journal not just writing down the reflection of, not writing down the events of the day, but reflect on what happened during the day. How did you feel? What were the moments? What are you thankful for? There's so many things you can reflect on, and use that hour as wisely and sharply as you can. Now, what you will find actually, and what I found, you will not be bored. There's so much to do, and creativity will rise from within you. Your soul will begin to bubble up the things that have been locked and hidden, that you have pushed down. It will begin to surface up, and you'll find the things that you were born to do in these moments. And you'll begin get those quiet pointers of who you truly are. The world we're living in is making it hard than it's ever been, right? Everything's vying for your attention, which is why claiming it back is mattering more than it ever has. As I always say, your soul is waiting, it's your move. If you're interested to join a my course, which is a 6 month return to soul, return to your divinity, and find your purpose in this lifetime, I do an introduction to purpose discovery for free. It's a 90-minute introduction to purpose discovery. I've put the link below. Check it out on the website. Sign up. The next one is in July. Would love to see you there. All right. Be well. Namaste.